Okay. Welcome, friends, to Interfaith Prayer and Discussion for tonight. We have Reverend John Giogo Sothi as our speaker tonight. And the topic is We Are Different, but We Are One. I will introduce him later. The topic of devotions is oneness. So I've selected the readings and I'll ask John to do the acknowledgement now, and then we can start the devotions.
On behalf of us, I would like to acknowledge the Gadigal and Bijigal people of Eastern Sydney area from the Gadigal land and indigenous people of all around the world who have cared for the environment, especially in Australia, those who have cared for our land for the last 60,000 years. And this land will always belong to them for all what they have done to care for this land, that we could come and live and have life. I pay respect to the elders, past, present, and the emerging elders of this country. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Let me start the devotions now.
The rain falls down, the wind is strong, but I'm warm inside. Come into my unity house, the day is long, we're singing a song in the unity house. Come into my unity house, the rain falls down, wind is so strong, but I'm warm inside. Come into my unity house, the day is long, we're singing a song in the unity house. Coming on the run. Here comes two coming after you. Three is me out on the deep blue sea. Number four knocking at the door. Come into my unity house, the rain falls down, the wind is strong, and I'm warm inside. Come into my unity house, the day is long, we're singing a song in the unity house. Come into my unity house, the rain falls down, the wind is so strong, but I'm warm inside. Come into my unity house, the day is long, we're singing a song in the unity house. In my unity house, 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 in my
Be united. Speak in harmony. Let your minds apprehend alike. Common be your prayer. Common be the end of your assembly. Common be your resolutions. Common be your deliberations. Alike be your feelings. United be your hearts. Common be your intentions. Perfect be your unity. From Hindu writings.
I pray for the good of the life of all living creatures, which Ahura Mazda, the Creator, has created. May the evil spirit be far from doing them any harm. I pray that the generous may be prosperous, the truthful may be blessed, the wise may be powerful, the unwise powerless. May the thoughts, words, and actions of us all be truthful and righteous, so that, in the end, the whole mankind may be benefited in this world and in the other world. Zoroastrian Writings.
Let none find fault with others. Let none see the omissions and commissions of others. But let one see one's own acts, done and undone. Buddhist writings.
With what shall I come before the Lord and bow down before the exalted God? He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God.
I am the vine, you are the branches. Abide in me as I in you. May they all be one, as you, Abba God, are in me, and I am in you. May they also be in us. Christian Writings, John.
Is this for Robert?
Truly, this community of yours is one community, and I am your Lord. So worship me, but they have fragmented their affair among themselves. Each is returning unto us. Islamic Writings.
O children of men, know ye not why we created you all from the same dust? That no one should exalt himself over the other. Ponder at all times in your hearts how ye were created. Since we have created you all from one same substance, it is incumbent on you to be even as one soul, to walk with the same feet, eat with the same mouth, and dwell in the same land, that from your inmost being, by your deeds and actions, the signs of oneness and the essence of detachment may be made manifest. Baha'i Writings.
Okay, thank you, friends, for that devotional meeting and reading those religions. Thanks for calling. Tonight, we have Reverend John Sigasodi as our speaker, and I'll just introduce him to you. Reverend John Diego Soti and his family sought after safety in Australia after fleeing Sri Lanka's civil war. Today, he's a community leader in Sydney, helping to promote a fair go for refugees. His passion for justice has caused him to work in community development, human rights, advocating and settlement of asylum seekers and refugees. He has a degree in theology and a doctor of ministry honoris causa for services rendered. Welcome, John, and I'll hand it to you. Please share if you have to share. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thanks for the welcome. Yes, we are refugees as a family. 40 years on, we are still refugees. And
Same here, 40 years on.
40 years
Still
on,
refugee.
yes, 40 years in Sri Lanka, 40 years in Australia. So I turned 80 a couple of months ago. So here I am, still calling myself a refugee in this country. And I work with the refugees, walk with the refugees, and serve them. And yeah, I got a few degrees, and then of course the recognition as the doctoral award. But what matters was that my feet is on the ground. I'm trying to sort of work with all the different people. My two missions from 1996, but in particular also I served in Parks and Shell Harbour for 8 years altogether. But here 30 years in Sydney, and the mission that I took up was twofold. One is to the mission to the refugees, and the other one, mission to the multicultural people. So the multicultural ministry and refugee ministry resonates because it's all about migration, forced migration, and that's how Australia was formed for the last 200 odd years. So that was where I spent my last 30 years and still involved, even after retirement 5 years ago. I like the way that you chose the songs today. Unity House, warmth in the cold, and safety when it's dangerous. And about the different faces, the children speaking to us in those pictures, different colors, different cultures, and calling for unity. And the prayers I was listening to was talking about truthfulness, thoughts that unite us, and not finding fault and omissions, walking justly and humbly with God and with humanity, and abiding in God, that everyone comes together like vine and the branches. And we are fragmented in reality. And it's not to sort of exalt ourselves over the other. And walk in the same feet. One soul that really touched me, because we talk about different souls, but in the Hindu religion, it's one soul is a Paramatma. Finally, all the souls will go and mingle or merge with the Paramatma. And eating with the inmost of our being. But one more thing that touched me, pure heart, that calls for humanity to leave all these things that prevent us from belonging to one another, to have that pure heart and love. So that's in the crux from the readings. Today, I was in Chulora shopping center trying to get my hearing aid, a little bit of difference in my hearing. So I just wanted to sort of get it done. So I was on it for a couple of years, and today the government gave a new free one, but I'm getting a different level so that you have to pay a little bit. But the one who was looking after me was a Islamic girl. She was so good. And then because it took a long time, and I said, I want to have a drink. She said, I'll take you to the, what's the drink that you want? She paid for the drink and the juice with that sort of bubbles inside, sort of, and she stood with me, bought it, and then wanted me to, get the straw inside and start. I thought, this is it. We are one, aren't we? And earlier, a few years ago, I was at the counter, I think Woolworth, and this Islamic girl, because it's a multicultural place, but mostly sort of people from the Middle Eastern background. And this young girl was at the counter, and when I asked something, and she called me darling. And I thought, she is Australian on one side. And at the same time, she's an Islamic girl. And it hit me. And I spoke about this to many people, and it touched my heart. We are different, but we are one. But I would like to change that but and say we are different and we are one. It changes the whole idea of but changes all the sort of connotations. I intentionally chose the subject when my dear friend Vasanta asked me to speak today. But my emphasis is on different, not one. We'll keep that one separately. And I'm going to talk about the difference. We are different. Even as we are in the Zoom, in the prayer meeting, we are different, aren't we? That's the reality. We're not talking about the sameness. In Sri Lanka, mother will say, like, you're like 5 fingers. You're not equal. So you have to sort of care for each other. And you have got different talents, different way. I'm one of the 5 in the family, the last in the family. Symbolic, isn't it? 5 fingers, they're not the same. Sameness was not the goal of creation or God's intention. That's my belief. We see the variety around in the world, in creation. Look at the beautiful birds. How different it will be, all the birds look the same. All the animals, even humans. Mountains, sea, green pastures. They all tell us the variety that God wanted. Creation is full of that. Never meant to be the same. So the emphasis I want to put in that particular statement is different. We are different. But we are called to be complementary. That's what you might say. I like this time to be a conversation. Stop me anywhere and say what you want to say. It all depends on the way that we look at each other, isn't it? But we bring our own gifts into into the community, into the family, into the nation. They call it there's a book written by it's in the library in my garage. It's called Cultural Pearls. All the cultures have pearls in them, right inside. And it is the pearl that we are going to share with each other as we come together. The different gifts that we are bringing. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, you would have heard about the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel is all about anti-urban. People want to be the same, and they wanted to build a big tower. So we will be the ones. We'll talk one language. It's like the slogan that is going around in Australia at the moment. We want to be one in that way. And what happened to the tower? The tower came down. The Creator didn't like it. Didn't want it that way. He didn't mean it to be that way. And the tower came down. And they were scattered everywhere. And they spoke different languages. Whether it really happened or not is the question. But the difference that God wanted is what I want to emphasize. Again, in the experience of Pentecost, in Acts chapter 2, when the disciples came together from behind the closed doors, frightened that they might also be crucified, when they came out, and then Peter gave a speech, and there were about 250,000 people, I think, for the festival from different countries, different nations, but they were of Jewish faith. So when they came together, they heard what Peter was speaking in their own languages. Not that Peter spoke different languages, but the different languages was affirmed by God. They all heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. So it is, we understand that God really sort of affirms the different languages, different cultures. And God didn't mean to have everyone in that way one. It's a utopia. It's not going to sort of happen now or ever, or didn't happen in the past either. This is the reality. And as I said earlier, it is all about our contribution to the whole community. I'm not talking about the center. There is no center in God's vision. We are all in the margin, in the circle. We can contribute towards each other. So there's a book that one of our theologians wrote on marginality. That is, you speak from the margin. You're not talking about oneness. You're not talking about the center. And I mean, the second generation would like to come into the center and feel that they are Australianized. But the quest or the call is for us to be wherever we are in the margins and to contribute from the margins. One of the stories that I use in my dissertation is on Good Samaritan, because from the refugee perspective, but at the same time, the stranger perspective. And the stranger becomes the enemy. So Samaritans and Jews were like enemies. Samaritans were earlier part of the Israel, but they were ostracized and they were in the north, and the Jews was in Judea. And who finally helped a Jew who was almost dying on the way from Jerusalem to Jericho? It was the Samaritan, the bad Samaritan, the one who was not supposed to be like me, like someone who looked and had a difference in religion and understanding and values and the traditions and cultures. They were looked at us as the stranger. A stranger becomes an enemy. So they will try to get rid of the enemy. Whereas it was the stranger who taught the lesson. And Jesus finally says in that parable, who did the right thing? The one who was merciful, was the lawyer's answer. And so, my friends, I'm talking about the world situation today, and then our responses quickly. What is happening in the world today? The war had started again in, I would say, Trump against the Iranians. And it's in an utter mess now. Who will bring peace to both parties or to the world for that matter? Petrol prices are going up anyways overnight. And it is the world is now divided by all these different ways that you will look at each other. Someone wrote about this, and it stuck in my mind. Is imperialism coming back to reality again? Imperialism was from the West to every country around at that time, the poor countries or developing countries. Now it's from the other side. And the question was asked about, I'm not becoming politically here, but I just want to say that the question was asked by this writer, is it the people from the West, including Israel and US, are they sort of bringing back the imperialism? That means all the other countries subdued and have to submit to themselves and make them poorer and poorer, and they want to rule the world. Geopolitics has taken a different turn altogether, and everyone is talking about who has the power, who will have the power in the future. It's about power. Just looking at the difference between them and the other, not looking at the way that we saw in our songs. There's no pure heart. There's no truthfulness. They're not talking about oneness in our spirit. They're not talking about walking justly and humbly. And we are fragmented. So the question is, like, because we are different, is it the reason why the world is divided? Is it the reason that the power can divide or subjugate and oppress? I come from Sri Lanka. So Sinhalese and Tamil lived together for a long, long time. After the British left, it was divide and rule. And then it was, for the last 77 years, we are now divided. What divided us? Because of the language, the religion, Hindu and Buddhism, or Islam and Buddhism. So Hindus and Hindu Tamils and even Christian Tamils and Islamic people became the minorities, looking at each other's difference, not what we are trying to bring together. The Prime Minister of Singapore openly gave a powerful speech. We will look at you, Sri Lanka, that one day you will be like that. We wanted to be like you. Now look at us. We have brought the three language streams and and the Tamil person is the president at the moment, and we built a country with limited resources. And so my question is, what can be the response of religions? Are we talking about interreligious, interfaith, intercultural dialogues? Getting people, like what we are doing now, to bring people to come a deeper understanding of creation and the intention of creation, intention for humanity, the reason for our existence. So we find this in different countries now, within the countries, like talking about Sri Lanka. At the same time, we are seeing in the world as well. The word inclusiveness is something that has become alien. Equal rights to the people have become a question, even in Australia. Speaking about the refugees who have come, do we have the equal rights here? Is that what they're asking for? The Human Rights Commission in the Human Rights Declaration is all people are equal. And another one is about a dialogue. If I have time for 2 minutes, I'll read this one. And this is about what I read just yesterday. And here comes is it? Give me a second. It is from a Swedish background, but the message is for all people. Oh. Yeah. Here comes. This is what. Every mediation is a small exercise in democracy. What a week in Switzerland taught me about leadership, he writes Emil Nubaha. The most important lesson I learned about democracy in Switzerland had nothing to do with politics. That probably isn't the sentence most people expect after someone attends a program called Reimagining Democracy. But in last month, that is exactly what I found myself reflecting on. I joined 13 other emerging leaders from 11 countries in Geneva and Cork, Switzerland, to wrestle with a question that feels increasingly urgent. How do we reimagine democracy in a world growing more divided? Before arriving, I expected many of our conversations to center on elections, constitutions, and political system. Instead, they centered on something much more fundamental. People, P-E-O-P-L-A. People. We came from different cultures, professions, and lived experiences. At times, we held very different views. Yet, no one was expected to abandon their convictions. No one had to win the conversation. We were invited to listen with curiosity, speak honestly, and remain present, even when the conversations became uncomfortable. Somehow during that week, I found words for something I had experienced many times as a mediator, but I never fully articulated. It says every meditation is a small exercise in democracy. Not because people vote or reaches agreement. It's because mediation depends on the very qualities that allow healthy communities and democracies to flourish. Everyone has the opportunity to speak, and every voice is treated with dignity. Both the process and the participation matters. People are invited to help shape the outcome rather than having one imposed upon them. As mediators, we often say our role is to help people resolve conflict. Increasingly, I believe our work is about something even deeper. It is about helping people remain in relationship when disagreement would otherwise pull them apart. That feels especially important today. It is about helping people remain in relationship when a disagreement would otherwise pull them apart. Too often, disagreement becomes the end of the conversation. We unfollow, block, and retreat into a space where everyone thinks like we do. We become more skilled at defending our own position than understanding someone else's. Yet some of the most meaningful conversations I have witnessed began when people stopped trying to persuade one another and started trying to understand one another. Understanding is not agreement or surrendering. It is simply recognize that another person's perspective had been shaped by stories and experiences we may never fully know. Throughout my work, he says, I've seen neighbors move from years of silence to genuine conversation. I have watched colleagues shift from entrenched position to share understanding. Not because someone won the argument, but because often for the first time they felt genuinely heard. That is the quiet impact of mediation. Working in this field has also taught me that trust rarely disappears overnight. It fades one conversation at a time. One meeting where someone doesn't feel heard when decisions are made without those affected or conflict is left to grew unchecked. Eventually, people stop participating, not because they no longer care, but because they no longer believe their voice matters. The encouraging truth is that trust is built in much the same way. Trust is built through one conversation at a time, one act of listening, one respectful disagreement, or one invitation to participate. This is why I increasingly see mediation as more than process for resolving disputes. It is practice of strengthening and relationships that hold communities together. As I traveled home, one question stayed with me. What if the future of democracy depends less on how we vote and more of how we choose to engage with one another between elections? Whether we are leading organizations, serving our communities, raising families, or mediating conflict, we all help shape the quality of those conversations. Every time we choose curiosity over certainty and dialogue over division, we strengthen the relationship that makes communities possible. Where have you seen respectful dialogue transform a relationship, workplace, or community? Is the question asked of you and me. And where can we see it? And we can see it in interfaith groups and like-minded groups that come together to listen, to tell the story, to trust each other. And that's how dialogues could be one of the ways that we could come together rather than be divided. And to say the last word is the love that builds the body of Christ. It is the love that builds the community of God. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for your talk about unity and oneness of humanity. Please, everyone, if you want to ask a question or do a comment, please raise your hand. While you're doing that, I'm wondering, John, whether a number of issues mixed together at current time. First of all, I think that humanity is coming to the age, and because of communication, we're all together, and obviously there's friction between cultures. So when would we see a time when to we realize that we are one as humanity, and um, to respect and take care of each other rather than cause conflict. The other thing is that I believe that there's a number of um, groups in the world that are kind of have these concepts of fanatical concepts in their mind, and they want to put that forward to humanity. I see as an Iranian that this is happening in Iran. A fanatical group are forcing people to try to cause problems for the world. So I'm wondering whether you believe that there are a number of issues that are preventing, and as you said in your last part of your talk, that love and friendship among people is the answer. So I'm wondering whether you can comment on that.
Yeah, thank you, Mohammed. The thing is, that's why I said it earlier, is that the topic is about difference and not about oneness. Because oneness is an utopia. It's not going to happen. It will be looking back, humanity from the time of creation. We keep dividing ourselves, and we keep warring against each other. We keep dominating each other. This goes on and on and on. And so rather than, like what I read, rather than looking at the big picture, saying that, we are not going to solve what's happening in Iran and Trump, even what they finally thought was not bombing each other, but have conversation, but peace talk, come together, share what exactly that each party wants, and try to come to an amicable settlement. It's just how people can be free to dialogue with an open heart, and within families, within the community, within the nation. That's what we need. But unfortunately, politics takes the center stage, and political language becomes a dividing factor. And now it's becoming worse. There was a time that refugees were marginalized in such a way that they were even looked at as enemies who are coming to our country and coming through the border. We'll choose who comes to the country was John Howard's the statement that is now resonating. And so the answer that I would say to the question that you raised is on the ground level, wherever we are, whoever we can reach out to, start dialoguing, open up your hearts, listen to the stories, understand each other, help each other to belong to one another. And it's like, you go to the bicultural understanding of New Zealand is that you go to New Zealand and with the Maori people, you enter into a bicultural program, that you go and live with them and understand them, then come out. And it's just, becoming part, walking. We were talking about walking on the feet. It's not oneness, but walking together. Same thing with Aboriginal people here. We had a program called in the Uniting Church about faith, about ABOUT, about faith. And young people went and lived among the Aboriginal people. And they give their names, each one given the names. They learn to call them auntie and uncle. And they belonged there for 1 month. And when they came back, they were different. And because they heard the stories, they understood what the pain that they have gone through and what they are going through now. And so that's what we can do. That's what I'm talking about, difference. How do we live with the difference and contribute to one another, rather than have the utopia understanding of we are one. So whenever we sing the song, we are many, but we are one, but we are many, or whatever we want to put it. I used to think it's not real. This is not real.
I think the Baha'is believe in the same concept. You know, this Abdul, the son of Baha'u'llah, said that look at the humanity as flowers of one garden. So the flowers are different, different look, different color, but they are part of that garden. So we as individuals are different, but they are like flowers in that garden. Um, and actually, when I was a youth, I went to New Zealand and I slept in a Maori house. And they woke us early in the morning, and they were sending us as prayers. But of course, we were a group of Baha'is that were staying there. Um, but it was so interesting. Colin, you have raised your hand, so please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, John. I appreciated your talk. I think you made the most important point about the importance of and the necessity of diversity, and that strength comes from diversity. And you gave the analogy of the human hand and the fingers. You know, if we did, they have to be different. If you didn't have a thumb,
Hmm.
how could you do up your buttons? How could you peel a piece of fruit?
Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah. So you know,
I guess
the
different cultures have a role to play in the human society.
yeah, and so with the fingers, you can extend that to the whole human body. You know, we can't all be the brain, but we can't all be the heart. You know, we need someone has to be an eye or an ear, and not only that, each bit has to cooperate with each other. Because when something comes to attack the body, a cancer or something, they've got to work together, and they have to cooperate at all times. You know, if you can't have the legs walking one way when the brain's trying to wants to walk the other way. So there needs to be cooperation. Of course, with the human body, we're sort of blessed because it happens. That's the way God designed it. But we still have to look after it. And I think humanity is the same. When the different elements of society and humanity don't work together, all in the same direction, recognizing something, then there's fracturing and what you might call disease, spiritual disease, or just ill health of humanity as a whole. And I think religion is the solution to that, because whenever God illuminates humanity and people follow his teachings, then you'll find enough cooperation to create a civilization. And when they turn away from those teachings, the civilization crumbles. So I think you've made the most important point, John. The kind of unity where everyone's the same and there's no disharmony, and probably not much beauty either, because all the flowers are the same colour. That's maybe not what we want. We want unity and diversity. So, thank you very much. Great talk.
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, well, as you said, John, I think the concept of localized transformation is the way to go if we want to unite as a human race,
Yeah.
and then respect the differences. So I think Baha'is are doing that. Are trying
Yeah.
locally transform things to form that harmony that should be between different races and religions. So this is our forum is the best way to for that transformation.
Charity begins at home, and
Yeah.
that's how home becomes a community becomes a nation, and we have a part to play in spreading this reality of what we are and what we should be, and we can talk about unity, but you can't talk about oneness. That makes things a little bit difficult to sort of swallow.
Well, depends on what you mean by oneness. I mean, Baha'is believe in oneness of mankind, but they do not mean that transformation into unified form.
Yeah.
They believe in diversity but unity.
Mm.
So I'll go to Vasanta, is raised her hand.
Mm.
Thank you, John, for accepting to do the presentation in a short notice.
Thank you.
Yeah, we all believe in unity and unity in diversity. My question is how we can or how you are in the churches and all, how you are bringing this understanding in the younger generation,
That's it.
or how can we do it?
Yeah, it's an intergenerational, I won't call it problem, issue. And, the older generation, in many ways, we are not going to leave the world in a better place for the young people. We don't know what the AI is going to do. And, we have shown the young people the worst of humanity. And how do they come out of it? This is why religion, as Ahmad was saying, and you said, religion has a big place to play, a big part to play, because it touches the core of humanity, core of our being. I know that talking about eat from the inmost. It is something that we have to share with our young people, because the young people don't come into religious organization, but at least the values, even schools, we can't now go and teach in scripture or whatever language, and they whether they are going to take Father, the Lord's Prayer from the Parliament, we don't know. It's just what we are going to hand over to the younger generation, the world. We are, even with climate change and other things happening. It's a big question. We can't talk about youth are the future of our nation. Youth is the present of the nation. They are now. That's why a lot of young people have come onto the open and started advocating for climate change and other things. You have destroyed the creation. Now help us to rebuild it. But I think older generation have a big part to play, and religions, because you go to different organization, it's the older people who are in religious organization, not the young. And the young people will like emotional type of religion, but that doesn't take us anywhere because it's emotional thing. And as they walk out of that temple or church or whatever, that's the end of it. It doesn't materialize. It doesn't become real. They can sing about charity, but when they go out, it's just an emotional upheaval. So, yeah, it's a good question. And what are we going to do for the younger people and the world that we are going to leave for them? That's why I'm sure Suva and you were struggling to get this going, and even at the time when he knew that the end was near, he just went with that vision and wanted that vision to go on, and you didn't want to give up. And the time that you were struggling, and you were there to sort of pull things together. And we are grateful to all those who stood by you in promoting. And hopefully this particular forum might become one of the answers that we would like to have.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Okay, Milton, you go ahead because you raised your hand. Milton,
muted.
you're muted.
Yeah, muted.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. It is very interesting to have a very good lecture or what should it, a speech discussion about the interfaith and prayer. And I'm very glad to participate in this because of Madam Janaki Madam and Malaysia Janaki Madam, and also Vasant who has introduced this group to me. So I'm very thankful to her. This, as Vasanta also asked that as Ahmed also spoke about the unity in diversity. It's nowadays it seems the world is becoming more and more that is more diverse, not united. The spirit of unity is little going down because of the one reason. That is the it should start from the schools. It should start from the children. It should start from the universities, colleges, because elderly people, old generation, has become more or less. You can't change them. It seems very difficult. You had spoken about a good Samaritan, and it is there. It is there among youth. It is among children. The spirit of the good Samaritan you can build up. I think we can do it something towards them, and forget about the old generation because they are more. Most of the people nowadays throughout the world, I am able to see in India and other places. They are occupied only with the digital media, cell phone, TV, or something like that, and or games, football, something like. Okay, they don't have the much time to concentrate on the poor people, inequality, how to. There is only 10% of the people who are rich, or maximum 20% of the people. They are dominating the 80%. Even there is partiality. It seems what Jesus has said that we love you. You treat the people in which you should always that others want you to treat. That's what John is speaking, I think, today, and that is what the interfaith means. So it seems what to do, how to carry out this thing, this mission to schools and villages. I am connected with various youth organizations, various prayer units in various not only Christian but also other groups also, so Hindu faiths also. So I am going as a faculty to the hilly areas, Kalvara and Malay Hills and other hills, Kullimala Hills and other places. Sometimes I am in Jaipur, and some places I used to visit. So when meeting the youth, there is I am able to see there is a change in them. There is a good spirit will be coming, provided we start praying to them. We start meditating. We should spread the spirit of meditation. I think I am right, John. Please share some insight.
Thank you for sharing from your lived experience. And I'm sure you know that Prime Minister Modi is here in Australia at the moment in Melbourne. And, you are one of those countries with 1.3 billion people, so different from each other, and how many languages you have, how many states, and how many, Dalit people or those who are untouchable or people who are living under poverty and things like that. Religious animosity have caused a lot of damage to India, which is supposed to be an ancient and beautiful country. People love to go there and worship in different temples and churches and all that. But how we are divided is a sad story. And I think, as you said, children, and Vasanta was asking the same question about future and the children. Probably they will be the answer for the future, and they will learn from childhood. Parenting should include, helping young people, children, to recognize, accept, and cherish friendship and fellowship and unity with other cultural people. Thank you.
Where is Jaipur in India? Can you tell us where you are located? Milton?
Yes, sir. I am in Jaipur,
Yeah,
Rajasthan.
but where is Jaipur in India? Is it
In,
south,
in,
north?
in Rajasthan.
Rajasthan.
Rajasthan. Okay,
Mid.
all right. One of the things that it's in the Baha'i writings is that humanity is coming to an age and we going through, like Baha'u'llah describes it as a human being, and it says that we are at the adolescence time for humanity. And when you are in adolescence, there's so chaotic time in the life, trying to find a path for ourselves, for our future. So I totally agree with that concept that we are as humanity in the adolescent times, and that's why we are having these conflicts and problems at the moment. And until these things, these kind of frictioning things not happen, we won't find our pathway towards a harmonious civilization. So we are in this time, so we can't help it.
In the predicament.
This is it.
Yeah, in this predicament.
Yeah, but every time every new religion has come, that society has gone through these kind of steps and then harmonized for a while. So I think we are going through that. Colin, you have your hand is up again.
Yeah, I think this topic in this discussion tonight is one of the most important and interesting that we've had, partly because John has made it interesting by making some statements which sound on the surface to be provocative, like the Tower of Babel, God wanted differences, and oneness is utopia. It won't happen. So those sort of that really gets you thinking. So I appreciate it. We need talks which get us thinking. And on that point, towards the end of your talk, John, you said oneness is utopia. It won't happen. Not oneness, but walking together. And I think there's the key. That's probably how I would define oneness, as walking together. In other words, in a sense, it is oneness. It's if we can walk together. And when we're walking together, I think you said people hear each other's stories, people's hearts change. People can change when they're the grassroots walking together, listening to each other, experiencing the same challenges. So, and then when that happens, when people change, even at a small individual level, it creates the conditions for cooperation. One thing I think is that, yes, I agree that you won't get the kind of oneness where everyone's the same and that they're not going to have different ideas and they're not, everyone's not going to be instantly perfect. But and so that's why there is a need for certain practical things to cope with differences and to be able to walk together. One of those is an auxiliary language. So we keep our cultures, we keep our the best things of our cultures. We keep our languages, we preserve those, they're precious. But in a family, so imagine a family of 5 people living in the house and each speaks a different language and doesn't know each other's language. It's going to be, it wouldn't last long. You would very quickly come up with a language so you could actually communicate. And the world is becoming so small that we're a bit like a family. It's just a practical decision, which I think will have to be made eventually when there's enough cooperation. Just say let's just all use this as our international language. And I hope it's not English. That's so hard to learn. I've been on this planet for nearly 70 years and I don't understand the rules of English. So I hope it's something. I hope that the people of the world choose something a little bit simpler than English. And the other practical thing to make it possible for us to work together is consultation. So there will always be different perspectives, different ideas, and that's and that's important. But we need certain skills, such as not being attached to our own idea, learning how to listen to other ideas, and then, if it's a decision-making body, to accept the decision of the majority and go with it. And if we're all going with the decision, then we see what the faults are and we can change it. So I've got a feeling, John, you might not agree, that you actually do like the idea of unity and oneness, but definitely not the sameness. Do you think?
You're right. You're right. Thanks, Khalid. Yeah, not the sameness we are looking for.
Yeah.
Walking together
you know what?
is a good symbol. Walking together, hand in
Yeah,
hand.
that's beautiful. Beautiful.
You know what I think? I think that the purpose of religion is to align people in a direction, into a path, and that's the path of God for humanity. So that doesn't mean that they have to be all the same, but it means that they align their thoughts towards a kind of a unity, towards a purpose in civilization. So if you look at the past, when different manifestations have come, they have aligned people, a lot of people. Like look at Christ. Christ has aligned a lot of people in the concept of God and path of God. So I think it's the same. You can say the same thing for Islam. You can say the same thing for Judaism, Zoroastrian, and all different religions. Perhaps we are at a time where that alignment hasn't happened yet, but it will happen for this time of this kind of age of civilization. Okay, Khalid, your hand is up. Do you want to talk about something or?
Yeah, John's really got me going. I want to say another thing.
Yeah, maybe wait until Testify says, because he has raised his hand first.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, Testify, go ahead. You're muted. Okay.
Okay. I think when we talk about oneness and one idea, I think it seems to me that it's the concept of oneness. It means to think in one positive thing, to think in one direction, to think globally. For example, when we mention love is the same in India, in Africa, in Ethiopia, in America, in wherever you go. Love is one. When we say love is one, it is the ideal thing we are talking about. Not to come together to one thing. And for justice also the same. Justice for Indian people, justice for African people, justice for Iran. And when we say that, it's the same. It has to be in place for all people on earth to have one justice. So this is, I think, it's an ideal thing. When you say oneness, it's an ideal thing that depicts the words to have a harmonized way of living, something like that. So in all the scriptures also it says it explains this oneness in many different ways. In physical world also, when we see our globe revolving around the sun, our globe or our earth is one when we see it. But inside of it, we have a lot of nations, a lot of things in details. So I think that oneness is simply to express the ideal thing in which the world needs now. When you say justice for India, justice for America, justice for Iran, it's the same. So I think not to simply say one word, one and oneness, it doesn't mean that there is only one way to go through. As in the Bible scriptures also says, you have to be united, but in diversity. Unity in diversity. So anybody can think that when we say one, it doesn't seem to me that people in America or in India or in Ethiopia or in Afghanistan or any nation you name, it means to have one kind of way of thinking. It seems to me like that. But literally, when you say what, just like the totalitarian, the Marxism, the communism used to manifest, they even they try to make all their citizens to have even to wear one clothes, to eat, to go in one way. That's impossible. As you have said, that's an utopia. But in the religion sense, it seems to me that to have one goal with diversity. So maybe it seems to me like that if I have contributed.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. It's not idealism we are talking about, realism, but exactly we are going through, and the diversity is one the emphasis when we are talking about unity. Thanks for saying it. That's why. Yes.
Thank you for your beautiful speech. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tesfai. Okay, Colin, go ahead.
God, through his creation and nature, teaches us about spiritual things by analogies. So there's analogies all through the universe, and one of those is the sun in the sky, which warms and gives life and light to everybody. So there's a kind of a real unity there, which we just don't fully realize. In other words, we're united because there's one God who's giving us life. But as we all start to recognize that, there is just one God providing love to all, then I think the more we open our spiritual eyes and recognize that, then a form of unity will come.
This coming Sunday, the reading is about the sower, parable of sower, sowing seeds. And God throws seeds equally everywhere, but it all happens. But what matters is how the soil is. If the soil is ready for that, you'll have the harvest. If there are sort of if the soil is full of weeds and thorns and whatnots, it's not going to give that harvest that God wants in humanity. We are working towards that harvest. One of the things the word that I like is harmony. harmony, the harmony day that multicultural NSW holds every year, and they celebrate the differences. Everyone comes in their national dresses and show off in a way their cultures, and everyone is accepted. Everyone is celebrated. So actually, we are celebrating the different cultures, differences, not talking about that unity that some of the songs and statements come. And my son James is the CEO of Multicultural NSW now, and his interim period he's going to for the next 1 year, and we don't know what the future will be. But Joseph had already sort of gone into another job, and it's all about he goes to celebrate every culture. Everywhere they invite, he's there to give a talk and appreciate them. And that's what he does all the time. He even leaves the family and comes back at 12 midnight. And sometimes he rings to find out whether we are awake so that he can talk while he's driving in the night, sort of thing, And yeah, why not call for harmony and celebrate the differences that we have?
Well, yeah, this stage is 8:35. We normally close up. So if everyone is happy, and I'd like to thank John for the talk, and we had a good conversation about this. And I hope that more people would come and attend, and this will grow. Thank you, John, again for coming and giving your talk. I hope that you come again and
Yeah.
Give us different topics. I'd love to hear from you regarding Christianity, Christian concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if nobody else has anything to do, we maybe say goodbye for this week.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you.